Welcome to Business Insights with Osayi Omokaro, the one and only free business consultancy live radio podcast from Benin to the world. We have only one vision: to ensure that startup founders and MSMEs do business professionally and make positive and profitable impacts. Sit tight and enjoy today's episode.
Hello guys, you're welcome to the continuation of our segment Business Insights with Osayi Omokaro. The difference between what we're doing today and what we've always done is the fact that today we are not on radio. So at the moment, if you're watching us, we're live on our Instagram handle, instagram.com at Trescaro. So if you are getting to watch this after now, you are at liberty to drop messages and drop questions, and we will respond to your question. Some of these videos we are sharing are part of a more robust course that we are currently working on and will be unveiling very soon. And the name of the course is Mind Your Money. So we'll continue on our series, how to make, multiply, and manage your money. The last segment we had, which will be on our YouTube channel. In fact, all of the past episodes are currently uploaded on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is at Trescaro HQ. So if you are not yet following us on YouTube, you obviously are missing a lot. So you will need to go connect with us on YouTube at Trescaro HQ so you can watch all of the previous episodes that we have released. So today we are continuing on the segment how to make, multiply, and manage your money. Last time we talked about the place of your mindset, how your mind plays an important role in how your money life works. So today we're going to be looking at something a bit practical. We're bringing it back home. You know, when you're talking to people about what happens in their mind, it's like you're telling them stories they really cannot relate with, even though what's happening in your mind, in my opinion, is far more important than what you do on a regular basis in the physical, because that's actually like the software that powers every other thing you do. But today we're going to be looking at how to manage your money. You know, we're talking about making, multiplying, and managing your money. Today we're going to be looking at how to manage your money. And part of the things we will talk about within the concept of managing your money is the fact that we may enter how to multiply your money, or we'll make that the next episode. So when it comes to managing your money, I need you to know something, that financial stewardship is what makes your money to grow. So the richest people are not necessarily the people that are earning the highest amount of money. Sometimes people will tell you things like, it is not about what you earn, it is about what is left after all expenses. So how you manage your money is what will determine whether you'll be wealthy in the long run, or you're just going to be one of those persons who have the privilege of testing wealth but is unable to sustain it. You know, it's actually more painful for you to make reference to a time when you once had money. It's painful. You know, and I also come to realize that it's much more difficult to stay wealthy than to get rich. It's easier when you're doing everything to just earn and classify yourself among the rich. But having gotten to that level, it takes a whole lot and totally different perspective or totally different mindset to remain perpetually wealthy. So you want to take money management very, very seriously. And the amazing thing about money management is that everything you're going to be hearing today will not be new to you. But part of the reason why you have not been implementing is what we talked about last week. on our last episode, which I will implore you to find time to go through, because there is a money mindset that is creating an autopilot in your life. So if you don't deal with that, everything we teach you now, as much as you will embrace it, as much as you will be willing to do, I guarantee you're still going to have a struggle in doing it, because your mind is already running the program. So you want to go back, take a look at what we shared in our previous episodes, so that you are able to apply this knowledge on top of that. The reason many people get rich and lose them after a while is what we're going to be talking about today. Beyond what happens in your mind and how your mind plays, part of the reason a lot of people struggle financially is what we're going to be dealing with. And if you want to avoid that kind of lifestyle, the first tip I'm going to share with you here is that you must live your life on a budget. Somebody will say, but that's something we always hear. Yes, there are many of us are doing it. I used to tell people that the principles of success doesn't change with time. This time we hear the words Gen Z, we hear the millennial, so things are a bit faster nowadays. Access is liberalized. You are in one country, you can engage in multiple countries because of the internet, because of technology. But that in itself does not change the principles of success. The principles of financial success are the things we're going to be talking about. You must live your life on a budget. What's a budget? Budgeting is simply the process of creating a plan to spend your money. Simply creating a plan to spend your money. In some other places they will call it a spending budget. A spending plan. A spending plan is in other words called a budget. Once you create a budget, it allows you to determine in advance. It tells you in advance whether you have the money to take on some responsibilities even in the now. Because it's an error sometimes for you to think that because this money is in my account, I'm at liberty to spend it. The reason why anybody will do that is because we truly do not run on a budget. If you have mapped out your budget for a month and you see that your entire household and everything you're going to spend money on within that month is 200,000 naira, for instance, for those of us watching me from Nigeria, and at the moment you have 180,000 naira in your account, because you've designed a budget, you tell yourself, I'm on a deficit of 20,000. But someone who doesn't have a budget, having 180,000, is practically feeling like he's rich. If care's not taking it, they even take people out and say, let's go have fun, let's go have some drinks, because the money in his account is leading him. So one of the things you can even call this topic today is how to lead your money. Because if you don't lead your money will lead you. But the bad thing is that money is a better servant than a leader. When you make money your leader, it will obviously lead you astray. When you make money your leader, money will lead you astray. So part of the strategies for budgeting, the first thing about budgeting is that you must first set a realistic financial goal. Because while I emphasized the place of spending when I was talking about budgeting, that spending is the other side of the coin, while income is the other side of the coin. So you want to take time to set a financial goal. That financial goal would have detailed your income, then talk about your expenditure. Most time, budget focuses more on how you want to spend. So set a realistic financial goal. When we use the word realistic, We're talking about something that is achievable within the resources available to you. So you don't set financial goals. Oh, we understand that the goal must be smart. We understand that the goal must be smart. The goal must stretch you so you can put in more effort. But you want to be sure that when the goal stretches you, it's not stretching you beyond your limits. That's why we say it has to be realistic. Then, having set a realistic financial goal, you want to prioritize essential expenses. Not all your expenses are essential. You must differentiate between those expenses that are needs. Because there's a difference between needs and wants. Even the economists will say that human wants are insatiable, not human needs. Because you always aspire for more things. So you may want a lot of things, but your needs can be met within the confines of your income. Your needs are the things that you practically cannot live without. So you want to prioritize your essential needs. Things like your rentage, things like your utilities, things like your food, things like your transportation, things like healthcare. You want to ensure that there are budgets stipulated to take care of these things. Then, of course, having determined this, then you have to create a budget and stick to it. In creating the budget, I understand the place of gadgets, but I would strongly recommend, if you can, take a paper and write. Psychologically, there's a connection between your hand and your mind. Take a paper and write. Once you're writing, your writing is imprinted in your mind. It's easier to remember than it is to just type. So craft it, put it in places that you can see. Get your family members to agree to it. If you are a married man, your wife needs to align with your financial budget. Otherwise, one of you will be running haywire while the other one is trying to curtail things. So get your family to align with it and stick to your budget. When I talk about this, I know it's not an easy thing to do, but the truth is, somebody said the harder you are on yourself, the easier life will be for you. And when you take it easy on yourself, life will be hard for you. So you want to decide which you want. Taking it hard on yourself is doing things like budgeting and sticking to it. Sometimes sticking to your budget is going to make it look like you are stingy. It's going to make it look like you don't understand. When people try to complain and talk to you about money, it's going to make it look like you don't understand. Then, of course, I'm not going to tell you not to give. Even your giving has to be in your budget. Your giving has to be in your budget. So no matter how stranded somebody is, if your giving budget for that month is exhausted, you want to put a person on your budget for the next month. Then implement what is called 50-30-20 rule in the allocation of your money. The 50-30-20 rule says budget 50% income on your essential expenses and budget 30% of your money on your non-essential expenses like dining out, entertainment, shopping, having fun with your family. I'm sure things like what you give could be inside that and all of that. Then budget 20% of your income as savings. You know what you have done when you run a budget like that is that you have taken savings as part of your budgetary expenses. So it becomes very important. In fact, somebody says that the rich spend after saving, but the poor want to save after spending. And majority of the time, the money available to the poor is not always enough to be spent. So that's the reason why a lot of broke people have excuses why they can't save because they want to flip it the opposite. But the people we call the wealthy, as they receive their income, their savings goes off and they live on what is left. So you don't want to spend and hope that after spending, I still can save. So run your budget on the 30, 50, 30, 20 rule. Then finally, as it relates to budgeting, practice conscious spending. Become a mindful person when it comes to spending. Practice spending consciously. Before you make any purchase, ask yourself, does this purchase align with my budget and financial goal? Secondly, is this expense a necessary expense or a discretionary expense? Does it fall among my essential expenses? Where within my budgeting does this expense fall under? Then you want to do your best to always compare prices. You can have a life policy, a financial life policy for yourself. And one of such things that should be in that policy is something like every expense from 10,000 naira and below must wait for 24 hours. Every expense from 50,000 naira and below must wait for 48 hours. It means I have 48 hours to take a look and think about expense of such amount. And every expense, particularly unplanned expenses, that is above 100,000 must wait for a week. This is a simple policy that you have set to guide your life with. And if you do that, I assure you, you would have killed impulse buying. So that is that on budgeting. The second tip I want to talk about is pay up your bills and your debts quickly. Pay up your bills and your debts on time. Don't wait to allow your bills to accumulate. Part of the reason you want to do that is that it will save you from paying late fees. Some of the utilities we need to pay may accumulate and begin to accumulate some late fees and all of that. So you want to save on that. Then secondly, you want to avoid those late fees. You want to avoid penalties. Secondly, it helps you to maintain a good reputation. It helps you to maintain a good reputation because have this at the back of your mind. A time is going to come where you wanted to pay some of these bills, when some of these bills are due and you are unable to pay it. If you have been consistent in paying on time, when those times come when you are unable to pay it, the person you're supposed to pay will be the one justifying you. No, if it's this man, I don't have a problem with him. He's always been consistent. If he's not paying at the moment, something must be wrong somewhere. They'd rather be calling and asking, hope everything is okay, hope your family is fine, hope your job is okay. Why? Because they know that when things are okay, you always pay on time. So it gives you a good reputation. Then another benefit of having to pay your bills and your debt on time is that when you have that good reputation, when you have need to get people to support you financially, they fall back on your past reputation. How did you manage when they gave you funds the other time? I've seen people who will do everything to get money from you when they are in need. But when it's time to pay, you hear them say things like, even the federal government is owing. Everybody is owing. I'm not the first to owe, and things like that. You don't know what you're doing to yourself. You may just think that you are winning, but the truth is, you are actually shutting doors, not just with the person you're talking to, but with everybody that listens to his counsel. So you want to avoid that.